Hello everyone, my name is Jalen Jones, digital producer here at WRAL. If you're watching this video, make sure you like and subscribe. It's totally free, doesn't sign you up for anything, but what it does and make sure is that the latest from WRAL is in your feeds and you can click at your leisure. Today we had a wonderful conversation with Brian Murphy, our investigative sports reporter. He is getting you the facts, the details, the numbers, everything you need to know of what it will cost UNC for a new men's basketball arena, also for the women's as well. There's also a swim thing. There's a lot of things going on with this proposal, and here he is breaking it down for you.
Hey guys, I'm Brian Murphy with WRAL, and some big news today. North Carolina releasing some of their projections for all of these venues that could possibly replace the Smith Center. Carolina has 7 options they're still considering, although I think 3 have risen to the top. We'll get to that in a second. There's the repair option, just keep the Smith Center as is, make necessary repairs. There's the renovate option, we've heard a lot about that. A new Smith Center arena, tear the whole thing down, build it anew. Hey, build it in the next door lot, right there at the Bulls lot, right next to the Smith Center. Odom Village, I think this one is coming on strong as an option. The Friday Center, and then of course Carolina North, which we've heard a lot about. It sounds like they're down to kind of 3 options. That would be renovate, Odom Village, and Carolina North. But here's a breakdown. We're talking almost $600 million to renovate the Smith Center, in part because it only has 1 concourse, in part because there's just a lot of work that needs to be done. When you get over here to Odom Village, we're talking about $700 million. And of course, Carolina North, $786 million. Now, how are you going to pay for all that? There's an interesting line here, capital gifts and philanthropy. It's going to cost a lot for season tickets at North Carolina. You're going to have to basically pay 4 times. You're going to have to join the Rams Club. You're going to have to give a capital gift. That will get you a seat license or a seat lease that you'll have to purchase. And then you have to purchase the actual tickets. That'll generate about $400 million in all these new options. And then how much money will the arena throw off, right? We're in an era where college athletic departments need as much money as possible to not only build their rosters, but pay for all these escalating costs. Well, here's where you get to the big difference. A renovate scenario only has about a $4 million delta of new revenue for the program and for the athletic department. When you start to get to some of these new builds, at Odom Village, they're projecting $25 million a year. At Carolina North, they're projecting 26, and that doesn't even include the possibility of an entertainment district or mixed use that could really generate more revenue at Carolina North. A couple more slides I want to show you guys. Carolina has broken it down. One reason renovate is so expensive, $121 million in associated project costs. That's because they got to redo Corey Natatorium, where the UNC swimming and diving teams play. In these arenas, if you're going to stay at the Smith Center, you're going to get rid of Corey Natatorium to build practice facilities. That really escalates the cost here. You can see a new arena just alone, $417 million before you get into all of the other costs. One of the big issues at the Dean Dome, permanent seat licenses. These went to the people who helped finance the original $33 million Smith Center. Well, there's still over 4,000 permanent seats that they get to hold on to. The darker the color, the more seats there are in that part of the arena, and they get to keep them for perpetuity. So they get access to that seat for the rest of their lives, and they can pass that down as many times as they want. This is limiting in some ways what Carolina can generate. There are also endowment seats. These are people who endow a scholarship at the school. They get seat rights. They can only pass them down 1 generation, and they're guaranteed a spot in the arena, but not necessarily these same seats. A lot of talk about these legacy seats and what you do with them. Can you buy them out of these seats? What kind of rights would they have if a new arena is built? Premium seats, that is the new thing. Carolina, way down here, only 54 premium seats in their current building. That's out of, more than 2,100 seats. They only have 54 current. A renovation, they get that number up to about 3,200. A new arena, 3,200 as well. That's where you can generate a lot more revenue per seat in these new premium seats. One of the other big things, student seating. You see here, at Carolina, students don't really have the best seats. Sure, they're behind the bleachers. Behind the baseline, they have these risers, they have this section, but you can see they can't really impact the game where they are. In a new arena, and this is just a sample, I think Carolina's still looking at a lot of options. They want to put students behind both baselines, really generate a better student experience going to these games. And you can see About 3,000 is the standard allotment for Carolina games. 5,400 for Duke. They scale up. For some games, they're really low, and you can see how that compares to other basketball powers. You know, Duke, which has one of the greatest environments, only has 1,100 students. In part, they have a very small student base. They have a very small stadium. And then one thing I thought was really cool, Carolina mapped out where students sit at all of these other arenas. Now, you look, these are all national championship winning teams. Or big state schools like Illinois. And you can see that the shaded color, the colored portion shows where students are. Some places have great student seating. Duke, Cameron, fantastic atmosphere. Others, Illinois, not great for students. Michigan State, all around the court. One of the reasons that Michigan State is a super tough place to play. And then you can look at Virginia, which is a new build. They were able to get students pretty close to the court, and it's very loud. You know, Ohio State, not many for students. So a lot of different options around the country. UNC studying them all. Let me go back to that first slide one last time and see. We have a huge cost change, right? From 600 million all the way up to 800 million. These numbers are not UNC just made them up, right? They worked with some of the best firms in the country who do this stuff. Legends, Populous, construction companies, site planners, urban campus planners. These numbers have been vetted for 2-3 years at this point. And so these are the presentation that they're providing to students, to former basketball players, to stakeholders as they try to rally consensus for one of these options. And again, last time, Renovate, Odom Village, and Carolina North seem to have emerged as the top options. Renovate comes with some logistical problems. And it's one reason I think Odom Village, you stay on campus, and you still generate the type of revenue they're looking at. I think Odom Village could be a dark horse right now, but this is a presentation that Carolina is making publicly available, showing lots of people as they try to build consensus for what to do with the Smith Center.
Hey, Murph, thank you so much for that presentation that you did earlier, going through the charts, going through the graphs, breaking it down for the people. Let's talk about why this new arena, possibly, or the renovation. A couple different options on the table. Why it's so important?
Well, I mean, first, Carolina basketball is sort of the identity of the school in many ways.
State, man.
Right. Yeah, the state.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking Dean Smith, Michael Jordan, Roy Williams, Vince Carter. Pick your favorite Carolina basketball player. And so there's a lot of identity built in that. And look, there's also a lot of money.
Yes.
Athletics is getting so expensive at the college level, and only two programs generate revenue. Football and basketball.
Yes.
And so maximizing revenue, and those basketball rosters keep getting more and more expensive. And so, I think a lot of it is a financial decision. This is driven by finances. How can we produce as much money as we can from the basketball program? Mm-hmm. That will not only help the basketball program, but will help the entire athletics department, and in turn will help the entire university. I think that's the way Carolina's thinking about this. And so it's really important to their identity. It's important to the way people in the state, connect with the school, the way young, students decide to get interested in a college. Like there are lots of important reasons why Carolina basketball in particular is important. And it's important for their brand. It's important in so many ways.
It really is. So let's talk about, you talk to these decision makers. Let's get into their mind a little bit. What are they thinking with the process? Let's say we're renovating it and renovating the Dean Smith Center. Am I correct? And then building a new one. Let's get into their mind a little bit. What are they thinking?
Yeah, there are 6 priorities that they've identified, and students, elite experience, generating revenue, premier arena for basketball,
Mm-hmm.
first best in class training facilities for their athletes, and the best way it was explained to me is these are the 6 things that are important, but 1 or 2 of them may be more important to you, and I may think that 2 others are important. Like, I think they've all decided, okay, these are the 6 things that are important, but how do you rank those? Mm-hmm. How do you decide if preserving the history and legacy of Carolina basketball is more important than increasing the revenue? Like, so how you weigh those 6 things, I think, will determine where you land on what the best option is.
All right, and let's shift gears closer to us. What are the consumers, us as fans, going to be looking at? Well, with the potential new arena, obviously new amenities and things like that, hopefully some parking and things like that. What are the consumers looking at?
I think they tie that into elite fan experience, right? When the Dean Smith Center was built in 1986, you didn't have 80-inch TVs.
No.
Not every game was on television.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to see the Tar Heels, you probably had to buy a ticket and go, except for maybe a couple games a year. But now you can watch every game on TV, on your phone. You have a beautiful, setup in your basement or your living room. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to say, hey, I'm Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. I'm going to watch this one at home. Yeah. So how do you drive people to the games? You probably have to have better parking, better in and out, get people home faster. You might need something before and after the game.
Yes.
So, hey, I'm not just going to a basketball game. I'm going out to dinner, or we're going to hit this game, then I'm going to go out with friends after the game.
Exactly.
So you've got to make it an experience in a lot of ways. And the Smith Center, for all the good things about it, is not an experience. You're going to a basketball game, mm-hmm. and then you're getting in your car and you're going home. And so, these are all the things that I think, the decision makers are having to think about as they try to process these options. I think really 3 options have emerged at the top.
Absolutely. And you guys can catch all this full reporting on WRL.com. You've gone in depth. We actually have those charts as well on the webpage as well. Is there anything else you want to touch on this story?
I think one of the big issues, and it's mentioned in the online version, and it's just been sort of one of the most prominent issues in this is the legacy seats.
Yes.
The Smith Center was built for about $33 million, and private donors paid for that. And in order to raise that kind of money in 1986, one of the things they got was seats in the Smith Center in perpetuity. They could pass them down as many times as they wanted to. They still have to pay a yearly fee, a yearly gift to the Rams Club to get those seats. But those legacy seats, which is the whole reason that the Smith Center exists, so we know how important those donors are. But right now, because those legacy seats are gone, you can't move students into those areas. Mm-hmm. And because there's no premium seats, there's no really place to put those high-end donors. Yeah. And so all these issues are connected. And so those legacy seats, what you do with those people, some of them are contributed probably millions to the university, to the basketball program. Others are skating by on what their grandfather did 40 years ago. So it's really a tough issue for them to solve, and it's kind of at the heart of this entire arena debate.
Absolutely. When are you going to stay on top of this? We really appreciate all the hard work you've done on this. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Murph, man. Again, you are working so hard to get to the bottom of this, give us all the numbers. What we do know, there is potentially minimal taxpayer impact with this new expansion as well. We're going to get you more and stay on top of this story on WRL.com. Again, if you're watching this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Totally free, doesn't sign you up for anything. What it does is make sure that the latest from WRL is in your feeds. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.